So, this character is submitted by Cerebyra. Character, Red Dragonborn Hardcore League favored soul healer. Focus on healing and survivability. For combat, I would generally like to sit behind a party and keep people alive. I was hoping that with dual sun bolts and CC, could have some more versatility. The tree's DCs are questionable, so maybe drop color spray. I'd like immunities out of Fade Arc, but if you think the points are wasted, I'm not bound to them. Not 100% sure if I need enhanced meta magics in both trees, and I can drop them. An item set, standard residual set, rework was my attempt to improve my character in finals, me trying to fit DCs in and failing. I'd like items to be tighter, and I've hit a wall trying to keep autumn and winter. Uh-oh, autumn set. Planning on using my favorite tome on con or charisma. Cool. Okay, so let's build a favorite soul. So this is a charisma-based favorite soul, as opposed to a wisdom one, and it's playing as Dagronborn, which is perfectly fine. Constitution. You got some charisma here, 28-point build. Sounds good, no problem, no problem. This is pretty much how I would do it, just all in on all in on charisma. And then you have a little bit of intelligence, you have a couple skills. As far as your actual skills go, definitely neat, but yes, that's how I would do that. Yeah, blood tribute's also not too bad. Oh, I'm aware. I just didn't feel like changing it because your brain would pick that up when you're leveling it and be like, huh, and then like fix it. Quicken spell makes sense. Maximize spell makes sense. I usually prefer taking maximize before quicken, just for the first couple levels. Literally, it doesn't matter. You chose Blood of Vol. I'm assuming that's because you want the Blood is Life cooldown button that you can press for the extra con fortification, as well as PRR and MRR equal to your religious lore feats. This is perfectly fine. You can just like melee people at the early game as well. I mentioned this before for favorite soul. Until you're level 3, just melee people with your favorite weapon. Like, that's what you want to do. It's way better and it's way easier, so make sure you do that. This character can't really go Orion like everybody else because it's not a charisma based, or it's not a wisdom based. It is charisma based instead. Oladra is goofy, and Sovereign Host has a cool heal, but generally it's not too important if you're like actually doing stuff. Orion is still good. It gives Spell Pen. Blood of Life gives Lack of Death. That's not too bad. Acid instead of... Guys, this is... How does this happen again? Polar Ray. You'll thank me later. Polar Ray. You take Empower Healing, Power Shield Proficiency because you're not an Azamar. Force of Personality because you're a charisma-based character, and then Shield Mastery and Improved Shield Mastery. So the Shield Mastery is interesting because taking this instead of the Toughness, I actually think that's fine for the most part. Oh, did I? Well, guess what? I changed my mind. I'm like a flippy floppy flip flopper because when I think about Polar Ray, that's what's gonna get you. It's gonna get you. You're gonna die to Polar Ray, and you're gonna be like, damn it, Polar Ray. Hate that. So that's funny. Anyway, Shield Mastery, Improved Shield Mastery. It gives you a good amount of extra physical resistance rating for these feats. So this is 10 PRR just for Shield Mastery, and this is 15, or like an extra 5. It's not bad, and this is an extra 5 as well, so this brings you a total of 20. Would I take 3 feats for 20 physical resistance rating? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I feel like that is scary. Well, I'm just trying to figure this out. What's better, 5 physical resistance rating or straight up toughness? You know what I mean? Like, this is 33 health. Character already has 21, 38 health and the physical resistance rating. Probably better. Plus, you can also have this show up on your little track, so you have it. That's not too bad. Time for a vote. I don't know. Doing anything else other than healing? It'll have some very, very basic crowd control, but the problem is right now this build doesn't have any DCs built into it in any capacity. No Scion for DCs, nothing else here for DCs. Perfect Shield Mastery is great, but doesn't give DCs, and no DCs. On top of that, there's no Heighten, there's no anything else. So this character is going to... Basically, any crowd control spells you cast are going to be Hail Marys, where you're just hoping for everything to work, but it's probably not going to. A buildcraft theory? Oh, man. Yep. So, yeah, because DCs right now are... I mean, We'll figure it out. We'll get it. Don't you worry. We'll get it in there. All right. But other than that, I don't really see any major issues because Epic Will and Epic Fortitude, you got no fail Fortitude and no fail Will. The reason why I'm not too concerned about no fail Will is because you'll have a Harper pin, and also if you roll a 1, most things give you a save in 3 more seconds to break out of it. You know, like autos, dancing, anything else like that. So those seem all pretty good. So yeah. And I think you can fit some DCs somewhere into this build. I think you can. We're going to give it a shot. I do recommend taking 3 fighter and not paladin. Why not paladin? This character literally has charisma. What is better about fighter and than this? Than paladin, if you don't mind me asking. Yeah, but paladin gives plus 11 to your saving throws. What feats do you get for fighter? I guess you could just take shield mastery and improve shield mastery and greater shield mastery if you took fighter if you wanted. How would you feel about that, Cerebyra? Giving up on your spell casting and going more into being like a very tanky healer. Yeah, but you can fix the reflex saves. Really like Beacon Capstone? I know, I also really like the Beacon Capstone. It's very fun. Yeah, but you can take more saves out of the tree, man. Alright, for all intents and purposes, we're going to keep it the way this is. Because if you like the Capstone of Beacon of Hope, you can't really fix that. Because this gives plus cash levels with all positive spells, and it makes your Beacon and Hope abilities scale with epic levels as well. So that means Hope for Protection is 33 MRR and PRR, and Hope for Victory is 0.18 melee and ranged power, which are both pretty good. And on top of that, it also means your Undying Beacon is 300 extra unconsciousness range, which is tankiness for everyone else around you, which is pretty good. So, it's a hard sell. Hard sell to walk away from. And then your character has no points in Dragonborn Tree, which is where you can get a lot of extra tankiness. Tankiness. You can get Charisma as well, which is pretty sweet. And your character also, you spend a lot of points in it. So you don't spend any points in Warsoul, which is fine. You don't have to spend points in Warsoul. Out of the Fate Arc Illusionist tree, you pick up the Reality Bulwark for the extra saves. You've got My Back for the 10 MRR, and you've also got the Greater Color Spray. Again, all this stuff is mostly fine. I don't really have an issue with a lot of this conceptually. Greater Color Spray is interesting because it's not always going to land, but at the very least, by taking this, it does technically give you 5 universal spell power for 1 point, which is a pretty good 1-pointer. As far as Angel of Vengeance goes, it looks like out of Angel of Vengeance, you're mostly taking Sunbolt, Charisma, and then the extra Efficient Quicken. Do you need... No, I'm good. Do you need Efficient Quicken on this character build? Not sure if I can justify losing that capstone. If you like the capstone, then you should keep the capstone. Wait, you also have some in Vistani? Oh, yeah, for the deflect arrows. I mean, deflect arrows ain't bad. But you could pick up more health out of Falconry if you wanted, the percentage. You could also pick up flat health out of Dragonborn while also picking up additional Charisma to increase your spellcasting DCs, which I think is also a possibility here. So yeah, it's tough. I would have to favor farm out Falconry. Oh, so yeah, no Falconry. No Falconry. No, it's fine. You can probably consider doing that later, but by that time, you'll be like really far down, so I wouldn't worry about it. So something that I can't believe I'm going to say this. So I really like the Hope for Inspiration, and the reason is, in hardcore, I have had many a moment where the rogue can't do the traps in a quest. So you're in a quest on Reaper, whatever. Say you're doing like I don't know. Like whatever quest it is. And you want to get the XP. And then I find that a lot of people just don't have the skills, which is weird. Well, if people are like in the middle of like, you know, they're still getting their gear and things like that. Also, if you're not playing an intelligence-based rogue, you might run into some trouble. So yeah. So I really like taking Hope for Inspiration, if I'm being totally honest. I actually really like this ability a lot. And I personally don't think that you need the Efficient Quicken, because you already have like 5 billion mana, and you don't really cast any spells. You're almost exclusively casting like Close Wounds, your Beacons, your Heal, your like Flame of the Favored, some of your like Heal spell-like ability. So you're not really casting anything that needs to be quickened here as well. All right, later, Grund. Wait, going to bed. Don't you live in North America? It's 4:30. What? Oh, you should, like, sleep more. Third shift. Okay, that makes sense. That makes complete sense now. Just watch the road crit, fail the trap, and laugh. Yeah, exactly. So, that's not a good point. But yeah, hardcore is really weird, because it has some things. It has some weird effects. So, I generally like taking this on hardcore, because you never know, right? You never know. This might happen where suddenly the rogue is going to blow a trap. And you're like, oh shit, let's fix that. Now, of course, this is only plus 8 to skills, but still, plus 8 is plus 8. Like, you don't know, because, like, you might say, oh, but what if you have a static group? Yeah, but what if you don't have a static group? Like, Cerebyra, do you have a static group with a trap person in the static group who is always going to be doing the traps appropriately? Because, as I recall, you want to be there so we can play at the beginning of Hardcore League. And you know how I'm getting through traps? The space bar. That's how I'm getting through traps. Yes, it does stack with prayer. This is a sacred bonus. It stacks with prayer because prayer is luck, and it stacks with greater heroism because that is morale. So as a favored soul, you could add plus 13 to somebody's skills. So I'm going to cut this tree a little bit. Because I still think if you want to have Sunbolt, that's fine. But honestly, I wouldn't even put points in this tree if I'm being totally honest. I would just, like, absolutely skip this. The big reason why I would absolutely skip it is because I feel like you would be taking Sunbolt, but you're not going to be casting as many damage spells. And out of the actual tree, you'll have damage spells already. I don't know. I just don't like Sunbolt. I don't think you actually need it here. So I probably wouldn't use this at all. So yeah, I'd just cut it entirely. Vistani, you can definitely keep. So keep that on there. And then I would probably take the 16 points that you spent in this other tree. And what did you get out of here from spending 16 points? You got 1 universal spell power and 2 mana for each point that you spent. So 32 spell points and 16 universal spell power. Cool. Let's grab boop, boop, Charisma. Good reviews are a bit meaningless. Should kind of think about how to survive level 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How are these meaningless? I'm like describing things that matter earlier in the game, like grabbing Hope for Inspiration for when you helping rogues all throughout the game. I'm very confused. Can you qualify that statement? What makes you think it's unimportant? Like, having appropriate skills during the leveling process is great. Grab some extra hit points. 30 hit points. That's very, very tasty. There's technically extra DCs here, but you don't have enough points, which makes me sad. But you do grab the extra healing amp and the extra health. That's not bad. You don't need spell power. You don't need the max cash level. You can't get the DCs. You don't need the dragon breath. This enhancement's bad. You don't need action boosts. You don't need fortitude. You can grab yourself extra charisma if you want for some higher DCs. Take the PRR from Dragonborn. No, that's too expensive. Way too expensive. Then you have 2 points left over. Where do you spend... What's an easy 2-pointer that's helpful? How many people get all the APs to use because they're dead before? Yeah, but having a plan is still a good idea. Is that permanent blur I see? Permanent blur is pretty good. And actually, having this during the leveling process would be great. You can probably swap this out at some point, but I do think that, yes, having permanent blur until you can swap this out is not a bad place to do that. And by the time you hit level 30 and you're perfectly geared and you actually have this displacement from the Celestial Topaz Ring, yeah, that's when you can swap this out. So I would say keep it. Great idea. That is a great idea. Good observation. So I like that. Close. Exalted Angel. Charisma. I really like Reborn in the Light, man. It's a good cooldown. Empyrean Magic is pretty good because it's 10% crit chance, Shield, Prowess, and Brace for Impact. Brace for Impact is really interesting because it does give 40% fortification, which is pretty cool. And your fortification is... Oh. I see what you did. I'm very excited to see your gear set now. This is 11 points. Okay, I have to see this gear set. I have to see this gear set. Rework and final. So you want to have the 4-piece autumn set to get the spell DCs. Or the 6-piece autumn set. And the winter. And all the stats. But then where do you get the charisma? Where do you get the charisma, especially with a tank shield? I mean, this one's not too bad. Oh, the Lionheart for the Insightful Con? Instead of the Wind Riders? I mean... Dodge 21. Yeah, because you have the Cladding of Dead Leaves. It's a lot of extra crit chance, which is nice. The problem is, you also don't have... You don't have, like... Yeah, you don't have, like, specifically healing crit. And that's the main problem that I see with this character build, is that looking at your crit chance... oh, you do have healing crit from what? Oh, Crown of Fireflies. Oh, this gives healing crit? And devotion. Oh, shit. I've never seen this item before. What the hell is this? Insightful Magical Sheltering. Oh, snap. Magical Sheltering. You have Insightful Physical Sheltering? Quality Physical Sheltering. Quality Con. Healing Amp 85. Angelic Grace. That's actually so sick that this item exists. This is a very good pairing with the autumn item. Damn. This is a very good item. And then the Gloryborn gloves are also autumn, which fits really well with the build, giving you quality PRR. Oh no! And the positive spell power, so that's not too bad. And then this gives you the artifact bonus to magical resistance rating, which is not bad, and the insightful constitution. Then you got the Cloak of Winter, plus the Autumn Leaves, plus the Cold Iron Bracers, and the shield for the 4-piece winter set, which is not too bad. Feywild? No, Feywild's not scary at all. There's very few dangerous monsters in Feywild. There's red caps. And I think that's it. And for most people, that will be scary. For me, I am playing a bard, which will have, like, 100 to all the skills, so bluff and whatever, so yeah. Yeah. Red caps are garden gnomes. The winter cape? Yeah. Wind Riders and Lionheart to Deep Snow and Duskbone. The problem is, the Celestial Insignia gives the quality con, and the Wind Riders at least gives dodge bonus, versus the Duskbone, which does not do that. Although it's better than this. Basically, if you did make that swap, so if you went to the Deep Snow, and Duskbone ring instead, the Duskbone ring would grant you more hit points. And then you'd have to swap out an item of the winter variety. So you could swap out the Cloak of Winter and then just take, which is like, doesn't really give you stats, and just throw in the Cloak of Autumn instead. And then you have Wind Through the Trees and Acid Absorption. Keep in mind you lose Artifact Charisma. What? Why do you lose Artifact Charisma? You keep it. You're at 6 pieces now. What you lose is you lose speed. You don't have speed anymore. Dodge. You don't have dodge anymore. And you have extra Insightful Constitution here. And extra Quality Constitution. Oh, and the Artifact... Yeah, you lost the Summer set, so you lost the Artifact Magic Resistance rating. Which is sad. I feel like there's another healing lore item that I'm not thinking of. Yeah, speed is an augment, which is fine. The Cloak Rock sucks. Castigators, Crown of Fireflies. Oh, it's the flower boots is what I was thinking of. I like the flower boots. They're really cool. They don't work with anything because they're spring set, but they're really neat. And having a strength dex to made helpless from the curse by Fomorians. Yeah, Fomorians are going to be annoying. Is Scroll of Flaming Bolt worth anything? No, because you can buy those. Easing Songs won't return? Yeah. You have the regular SP from the gloves. But then the benefit is that your character now has 2,000 life, good PRR, good MRR, good fortification, 180 healing amplification, and you get to have the artifact bonus of spell DCs. The only problem is you still don't have spell DCs. Like, you just don't have spell DCs at all.